RevenueCat recently published a 339-page report covering over 115,000 apps and over $16 billion in total revenue. I analyzed the entire thing. And what I found in this report is that there is a huge gap between the winners and the losers in the app space. One of the biggest factors in these apps' success is their paywall strategy, their pricing strategy. The bottom 25% of apps shrank 33% year over year. And this gap is not random. It's because the top app companies in the world are leveraging the most recent and up-to-date paywall strategies. So in this video, we are going to break down exactly what the top 25% of apps are doing and why most app founders get this completely wrong. Only 4.6% of apps ever reach $10,000 per month. And it's not because they have bad products, they have bad code, or the founders have no idea what they're doing. It's because they're not leveraging the latest and greatest marketing and paywall tactics. Let's get into it. Okay, here we have it. The 100 Paywalls study. We're going to be covering absolutely everything from the market research to designing a paywall to positioning your paywall and of course how to test your paywall to maximize your LTV. First things first, let's get into the stats. I've been saying for years that hard paywalls crush the freemium paywalls, and here's the data to back that up. So all of you in the comments who have been telling me that hard paywalls don't work, nobody likes hard paywalls, you're wrong. Here's why. Hard paywalls crush. They convert 5 times better than freemium, but of course there are downsides and the advantage disappears over the long run. So yes, after a long period of time, if your retention is insane, you will make the money back. But for most people out there, people aren't retaining in your app for a year plus. So having a hard paywall will get you a return on your investment so much faster. Does it add extra friction into your app? Sure, but you are able to convert at a much higher percentage and get the return on your spend, your marketing spend back much quicker. Another important stat to keep in mind from this research is that the window to win is closing. 55% of all cancellations happen on day 0, the first day that someone has your app installed. So it is imperative that you deliver the users the aha moment, the key value inside of your app as quick as possible. Guide the users to success. What does success look like in your app? Because if you don't do that quickly, they will leave and they will cancel. Some more interesting stats here before we dive into implementing all these strategies. The geography of your installs does also matter. Where you are marketing, the types of users, where your users are coming from does matter. Of course, North America driving the highest return on spend, followed by Asia Pacific and Western Europe. Also, the average revenue per install split by plan duration. This is something I wish I knew when I was scaling puff count. Apps that sell yearly subscriptions primarily monetize 2 times better than other groups in the first 14 days, and they still hold that advantage at day 60. So if you have a yearly plan, you are doing it right, and we're gonna show you how to optimize for a yearly plan on your hard paywall. And on that same token, offering a yearly plan shouldn't be the only option. A majority of apps are offering 2 plans. So we're gonna keep that in mind when we talk about designing and shipping our paywalls. I have this entire RevenueCat report along with other helpful links on this document. So if you want this document, it's going to be in the description. And we're going to keep referring to this RevenueCat report as we start to talk about design, positioning, and testing paywalls. But you can also do your own market research using paywall screens and screens design. These 2 tools are extremely helpful. Paywall screens will show you all of the paywalls. You can view them and preview them all right here. You can see exactly how much each one of these apps are making and exactly which paywall they're using. On top of that, screens design is very helpful because they will show you not only the paywalls and the monthly revenue, but they will also show you the user onboarding for each and every app. The onboarding is priming for the paywall, so keeping in mind and studying the onboardings of each one of these successful apps is also very important to the success of the paywall itself. Use paywall screens, use screens design, use the RevenueCat report when you are doing market research. When you are thinking about designing your paywall, look at what the other most successful apps in your niche are doing. How many plans they're offering? What is the pricing? How long is their onboarding? What are they asking users in the onboarding? All of this information should play a role when you plan on designing your paywall. And following these exact strategies and keeping a holistic picture of your app, your paywall, your onboarding is very important. That's how I was able to scale up puff count to 45K per month. It wasn't just because we had an optimized paywall. We had the onboarding prior to the paywall, priming the users. So make sure you keep a holistic view of your app and its onboarding while you think about designing your paywall. Now, let's get into actually putting the paywall together. What is the most optimal design for our paywall? The most important part is clarity over complexity. Make your paywall easy to understand at a glance. If you try to make your users do too much thinking, calculation, whatever it may be, they will leave and they will not pay you. The paywall is the most important screen in your app because it is the decision point that your users are making whether or not they're going to pay for your app or not. Duolingo executed this perfectly. They prioritize clarity over persuasion on their paywalls. They used shorter trials and they added friction to trial reminders. Now, what does this look like in practice? We can go over to screens design and we can see exactly what Duolingo was doing in their paywall. Clarity over persuasion. They would show users a timeline of exactly what happens during their trial, and we can see that in action here. This is not their real paywall screen yet. Start my free week. Boom. A timeline. They'll remind you in 2 days before the trial ends. Clarity, trust, building. And then boom, they hit you with the real paywall. So they are building trust and clarity for the users by telling them the timeline of what's going to happen in their trial. Another amazing example of this is Cal AI. After their onboarding, they hit you with this screen. Not a real paywall screen yet. We want you to try our product for free. We'll send you a reminder before the trial ends. And then boom, the real paywall screen. Very clear, building trust, and that will help you convert more users. The key important thing to remember here is the users actually have to turn on push notifications to be reminded. So that adds a little bit of friction to the trial reminders and ultimately helped Duolingo boost a lot of their conversions. Your job on the paywall is not to dazzle and overload your users. It is to convince them there is no reason not to pay or start the free trial. Probably the most important part of your paywall is the price point that you choose. And if you take anything away from this video, it should be this point right here. Something that I've been saying for a long time and get pushback on. Price your app as high as possible. Here's the data to support it. High-priced apps generate on average $36 of monthly LTV as a median, 5.4 times higher than low-priced apps at $6.67. Mid-priced apps perform at roughly half of the high-priced applications. It's very simple in practice. Charge more and you will increase the lifetime value of your customers. Don't be afraid to A/B test and charge as much as humanly possible. It will make marketing and scaling your app so much easier, and here is the data to support it. Charge more, and of course, use a hard paywall. Hard paywalls, higher prices will make you more money. So now that you understand the research behind designing a winning paywall, let's talk about how to actually build it. Again, clarity over complexity, highlight the key value proposition, social proof and trust indicators must be on your paywall or at least your onboarding. And something that a lot of people miss, you can customize your paywall if possible. So let's get into the best way to design and build a paywall. And of course, 99 Designs is your best option. The paywall screen is ultimately the most important screen in your app, so it needs to be designed in the best way possible. You shouldn't be throwing this on Google Paint and sketching out your own paywall. Don't do that. Invest in your paywall. It is the most important screen in your app. And the best way to get a screen designed is through 99 Designs and running a competition. Here is the winning paywall that helped to scale to 45K per month for puff count. I got it done on 99 Designs. I got over 91 different paywalls designed and I only picked my favorite. This one, of course, ended up being the winner. And this is the one that we move forward with. As you can see, clear value prop at the top, user reviews, building that user trust, that social proof, and then a little description of the plan that is required by Apple. And then of course, the paywall button here, restore purchases, terms and conditions. This was a clean paywall and the one we moved forward with. Superwall also has proven one-click templates that can get you started. So if you have a lower budget and you don't want to run a 99 Designs contest, you can use Superwall's templates and build your paywall directly in Superwall. And this is exactly what I did. I took my winning design from 99 Designs and then we pulled it into Superwall and we built different variations of this. And we tested slightly different designs as well. We tested 2 plans, we tested different button text, and we'll get into that in a second. But ultimately, the core principles that you need to keep in mind when designing your paywall, it needs to look professional, it needs to look clean, and take inspiration from your biggest competitors. Now let's move on to positioning your paywall. When and how should you show your paywall? Before we get into this, let's understand the statistics. 50% of all app conversions happen on day 0, the first day that someone has your app downloaded. And that's because day 0, the first time they download your app, is when the users care the most about your app. If you're relying on them to come back inside of your app and upgrade later and you don't have a hard paywall, it's going to be so much more difficult for you. And that's why, as you can see, the stats here, hard paywalls convert 5 times better than freemium because you are forcing the user to convert on day 0. Here we have the founder of Aperture emphasizing this. 50% 80% of paid conversions happen on day 0. So it's very important that you're pushing a hard paywall and you're making the users convert when they first download your app, when they care the most. And using an onboarding, which we'll get into in a second, is so very important in encouraging those users to convert on day 0 on your hard paywall. And what she mentions here is also very important. If you show the hard paywall instantly before building any trust with your users, it will feel like a demand, not a simple next step. And this is why we had the long onboarding on puff count before the paywall. The users came in, we built trust, we showed them the value, we displayed social proof, we customized their experience using a long survey, we targeted the pain that the users were feeling in the survey, and only then did we show them the hard paywall. People clown me all the time for having a long onboarding. People clown me for having a hard paywall. The data speaks for itself. The top apps in the world, the top app founders are also doing the same thing. Why would you do anything different? You need to build context around why someone should pay for your app. If you show your paywall without showing any context, the users will not convert. You don't even need to just take my word for it. Here are 4 other apps doing the exact same thing with their onboarding and their paywall. A $3 million per month calorie tracking app, a $10 million per month period tracking app, $12 million per month language learning app, a $1 million per month note taking app. And of course, here's my app, Puff Count, up here. Every single one of these is doing the same exact thing. Let's take a look. Intro screen, onboarding, questionnaire, and then they have a hard paywall right here. That's Cal AI, the period tracking app, intro screen, onboarding, asking a bunch of questions, a lot of questions, boom, hard paywall. Duolingo, same thing. We've already looked at their product. A lot of questions, paywall. $1 million per month note-taking app, Coco Note, long onboarding, hard paywall. A majority of successful apps on the App Store are doing the exact same blueprint. Why would you do anything different? Another cheat code that I want to pull in is, again, based on the Revenue Cat research, most of these apps are offering a yearly plan and a monthly plan. And only on the yearly plan are they ever offering a free trial. That way you are pushing users to the yearly plan and getting a higher return quicker so that you can reallocate that spend into marketing. And finally, the most important part of building a successful paywall is to always be testing. You need to A/B test absolutely everything in your onboarding and your paywall for it to convert at its absolute maximum potential. And the number one question that I always get is, how long should I test my paywall? It's not about time, it's about volume. You can A/B test your paywall in an hour, or it could take you a year. It all depends on the amount of users you're getting to view your paywall. The more data you have, the more users you have going through your paywall, the more confident you will be on your data. And you should be A/B testing absolutely everything. You should be A/B testing your paywall and your onboarding flow, and let me show you what that looks like. In Superwall, you can build campaigns where you test multiple different paywalls, and you can split the amount of users seeing each paywall. So to test these 5, we split each paywall into 20% sectors so that each paywall would get an equal amount of views. And then you will see the results. So here for this one, we were A/B testing the header wording of our paywalls. And as you can see, there was a clear winner. This one, the track your usage header wording, had a much higher estimated average revenue per user. It was $1.15 compared to the lowest one at 39 cents. We were earning $1.15 per user that saw this paywall, which is much higher than everything else. Superwall will use the testing method, the A/B testing method called Bayesian analysis. You should build campaigns and be A/B testing every single part of your paywall. We tested different pricing. We tested annual options. We tested discounts. We tested absolutely everything until we landed on the paywall that gave us the highest lifetime value per install. And on top of that, we also A/B tested our entire onboarding flow. We tested every single different screen in our onboarding flow to ensure that users weren't dropping off before they saw the paywall. We used Mixpanel to A/B test and build custom events for every different onboarding screen, but Superwall just launched A/B testing user onboarding flows, so you can do this all through Superwall now. But the main point being, we wanted to ensure that through our onboarding, we were building positive friction. It's fine that some users are dropping off in between our different onboarding screens, but ultimately we want to retain a high percentage of those users. 91% of users got through our onboarding and 27% started the free trial. And all this data was out of 196,000 users. So again, we're testing every single one of these screens. We're testing the drop-off rate between each one of these screens. And if one of these screens produced a high drop-off rate, we would either change it or completely remove it. This is building the sunk cost bias. This is walking the user through their problem. And our conversion rate on our paywall jumped tremendously after we introduced this onboarding, and we had A/B tested everything in our onboarding to ensure that we were building that positive friction. And again, we were very confident in this data because we had 125,000 users come through this onboarding flow. So the data was very solid. Same with our paywall campaigns. We had tens of thousands of views on each one of these paywalls. And that is why we were so confident on the data. Another thing that is very important to keep in mind, you need to use the scientific method when you are testing your different paywalls. We only tested one thing at a time. First, I recommend that you test your pricing, and that should be the only thing that you're changing on your paywall. Then you can move on to the less important stuff like the header wording, maybe even the user reviews on your paywall. Only test one thing at a time. And that includes your onboarding. Don't change your entire onboarding and change your entire paywall and test both of those at the same time. If you change more than one thing at once, you will never understand what is driving the actual real change within your tests. And again, the overall goal in testing your paywall, in testing your onboarding should be optimizing for your LTV, but not only that, the speed of return of your investment. This is why you see so many apps optimizing for a yearly plan, because they get the entire yearly plan upfront. They get more cash upfront as opposed to a weekly or a monthly plan. If you're getting more money back quickly, you can use that money to scale your spend, your marketing efforts much, much faster. To help you visualize what A/B testing your paywall looks like, it's not just your paywall that is going to affect the results, right? It is your marketing. It is also your onboarding. And again, following the scientific method, you should be optimizing your paywall first. So we need to test all of these things, but let's start first with the paywall, which is what I did for Puff Count. I A/B tested 4, 5, honestly, like tens of different paywalls. And then we found our winning paywall. And then we worked backwards and we've tested different onboarding flows. We tested different lengths of screens, different questions, and we found our most optimal onboarding. Even after that, we A/B tested different marketing angles. We A/B tested different paid ads, and we found our winning couple of paid ad videos. And you need to A/B test each and every one of these steps individually. And eventually you will find your best marketing videos. You will find your most optimal onboarding, and you will find your most optimal paywall. And once you do all these things, you will have the winning formula to scale your app to the moon, because you've optimized absolutely every step of your funnel. You've optimized the marketing message. You have the winning onboarding that you know converts users and primes them for the correct paywall, and you've maximized your LTV. So ideally, your LTV is much greater than what you spend on acquiring customers on this side. And this is how the best apps in the world scale. It's science, it's numbers, it's A/B testing. Do not give up. Just get enough data into your app, and you can be very confident that you will get a return on your spend. If you need help building, optimizing, or scaling your app, your paywalls, your onboarding in general, I put together a group of founders, and we meet every single week to talk about exactly these strategies. We talk about marketing, onboarding, paywall strategies, everything to do around building and scaling successful mobile apps. So if you want to join that group, shoot me a DM on Instagram at steven.builds, and I'll get back to you there. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you watched this far, you probably got value from it. So drop a like on the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'll be dropping videos just like this all the time. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.